ECAT's production of OA Sports are provided by RevT, we simplify technology for better, Easton Lions Club, Morris Insurance, Doug King Builders Incorporated. ECAT would like to thank all the sponsors for the support of producing OA Sports.
It's a backyard battle at the corner of Park Street and Sheridan as the neighboring Sharon High Eagles swoop in against your Oliver Ames Tigers. Hello, everyone. I'm Adam Rivero, back with play-by-play for this Hockomock League contest between our neighbors to the north and your beloved Tigers. Well, we're going to get started with our first pitch here in just a moment, but in the meantime, Sharon comes into today's contest with a 2-8 record. They kind of limp into Frothingham today, having lost 7 of their last 8 games. Now, they were able to defeat Brockton in a shutout last week, 6-0 at the beginning of April break. But then last Friday, they got 10-run ruled against Dover Sherburne, 10-0 in 5 innings. Now, Sharon has moved to the larger Kelly Rex division. That is the division of the 2 divisions in the Hawk League where some of the larger schools are. However, that move up this year has not been a good one for them thus far, as they have struggled in the larger division. But they do come into Oliver Ames today with that 2-8 record, looking for a win against your Tigers. Now, Tigers also had April break last week and were able to play 2 games. Their first was in New Bedford, and that was last Tuesday. They got to exact their revenge against the Whalers, winning 7-2. Jack Devonshire pitched 5 scoreless innings in the win. He only gave up a hit and struck out 6. The good news for the Tigers on Tuesday was they were able to manufacture some runs. They got some of that run production that they've been so desperately looking for, and they hit 8 singles and stole 7 bases. So they were able to move runners around, score runs, and do really what they've been struggling to do this year, at least on a consistent basis. Now, the trouble, unfortunately, is that on Friday they lost a heartbreaker against Dighton Rehoboth, 2-1. Dighton Rehoboth walked it off at the 7th inning. A runner on third and then a sac fly won it for DR. Unfortunately, then again, the issue was the offense that was hitting on all cylinders on Tuesday, not so much on Friday, only mustering up 3 hits. Now, Ryan Johnson, our pitcher, was a bright spot on the day. He worked 6 innings, struck out 7, and only gave up 1 run. Now, the story of the day is the story that has been, well, really all season for Oliver Ames. It's, can the offense get the swings and connections that they need to be able to score some runs? So far, they've scored 26 runs in 9 games. That's an average of less than 3 runs a game. Now, on the opposite end, they've given up 48 runs, which means they're at a deficit of over 2 runs a game. That's going to have to be overcome this afternoon for Oliver Ames to get the victory. Now, Oliver Ames comes in with a record of 3-6 against the Sharon Eagles, 2-8, and I imagine both of these teams are looking at the other one, hoping for a win today against a ball club that has some struggles here and there. But if you're Oliver Ames, certainly you're encouraged by the win last week against New Bedford, who beat you earlier in the season, and you're hoping to build on that. And even the defensive struggle on Friday, although it was a loss, it was good to see that Oliver Ames was able to hold DR to only 2 runs, much like they held King Philip to 6 runs just a few days ago. And although that seems like a lot, and in some ways it is, King Philip is the offensive juggernaut of the league, and they held them below their average as far as offensive production. So a lot to look forward to today. 2 teams that are trying to get in the win column, that are trying to change the narrative. I expect this to be a pretty scrappy contest, and I'm glad that you are here with us along for the ride. Well, we're going to give you the starting lineups in just a moment, but in the meantime, A.J. Baroncelli back on the mound, and he will be pitching against the first batter, right fielder, Ari Grossman. Here's the first pitch. Inside for ball 1. AJ pitched last a week and a half ago on that matinee game the day before Easter. In there for strike 1. A.J. pitched for 5 innings, struck out 2, but did give up several runs in the loss. Connected and into the outfield for a base hit. That is a leadoff single as Colin LeMay has trouble with the collection of the ball there, but the runner does not advance. That is a leadoff single for Ari Grossman. Next up is the pitcher for Sharon today, Mason Silverman. He's a sophomore. And again, these are two teams, both almost in some ways mirror images of each other, rather. Both struggling on offense, both with some bright spots in the pitching department, both desperately needing a win. Silverman in the box, AJ with the pitch, and he shows bunt but pulls back. Ball 1. And Sharon is very excited in the dugout so far to start this game. The count is 1-0 to Silverman, the pitcher. Shows bunt again. Again, the pitch is high for ball 2. AJ takes a minute to kind of gather himself and gets ready to pitch. And boy, you can really hear the Eagles over there in the dugout. They are trying to will those runners forward. And that was a strike for a count of 2-1. Again, Silverman showing bunt, yet the runner not advancing thus far. Grossman on first. Here's the pitch. In the bottom corner for strike 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Great placement there by Baroncelli. Infield at double play depth. AJ looking over to first. And it seems that time was called by the batter just before AJ was getting ready to pitch. And he digs back in again. Bunt is off the table here now with 2 strikes. And the throw. As the runner goes, Drew Hall makes the throw, and it's going to be into the outfield. An errant throw does not catch the runner, who steals second base. But as Ben Newton, playing center today, moves up, ensures that that ball doesn't continue rolling towards the tree and keeps the runner on second. Unfortunately, double play has been taken off of the table. Now it is 3-2, no outs, runner on second. Mason Silverman, the pitcher, at bat. He connects a slow roller down the first base line, and the flip over to first base is going to be in time, although the runner does hit A.J. Baroncelli. He runs into him there at first base. However, he is out nonetheless. It does move the runner over to third, which does give us 1 out, a runner on third base, and the third hitter of the afternoon for the Eagles, Matt Cronin. Your starting lineups today are brought to you by RevT, audio video technology simplified for better. We've already seen number 3, the number 1 hitter, Ari Grossman. Number 2, Mason Silverman. Number 3, first baseman Matt Cronin. Number 4, the DH, Cole Arundale. In the number 5 spot, the shortstop, Matt Berkeley. In the 6th spot, Matt Lebreau, the third baseman. The catcher, Adam McAuliffe, is batting 7th. Batting 8th, the left fielder, Soham Kulkarni. And then in the bottom of the order, the second baseman, Brody Laser. Count now is 0-1 to Cronin, the junior. Again there in that bottom part of the zone, strike 2. 2 well-placed pitches there by Baroncelli. A quick strikeout here would be advantageous for the Tigers. Here's the pitch. Just outside for a ball. 1 ball and 2 strikes, trying to get him to chase, but he didn't bite. Runner on third. Single, then a stolen base, and then moving over to third on a sacrifice. Foul ball as the hitter remains in, 1-2. Cronin, the lefty, is a junior. AJ looks over at the runner on third and deals. Again, fouled off onto Park Street. And is our typical thing to do here. We check to see where it falls, and it looks like it's away from the cars. And the crowd here is happy about that. Here's the pitch. Just outside for a ball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Small crowd here so far. Probably can't tell from the noise that's coming from the Sharon Eagles, who are really into this game here at the start. But the crowd, although small, is growing by the minute. Strike 3 call, and he's going to sit down for out number 2. Well-placed pitch there by A.J. Baroncelli with his first K of the day. That brings up the designated hitter, Cole Arundale, batting in cleanup. He's the captain. He is also one of their pitchers, not pitching today, coming in DH duties I just mentioned. Outside for a ball. Arundale, their star pitcher in OA, drawing a break today by not having him on the mound. He is scheduled, or has committed rather, to play at Southern Maine next year. Here's the pitch. That's going into right field, where Colin LeMay is going to go after it and is going to miss the catch. However, it is foul. LeMay chased after that, but it was trailing and heading into foul territory. It's just beyond his outstretched glove. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs, runner on second, or rather runner on third. My apologies. And again, Sharon, who has lacked offensive production in many of their games so far this year, really wanting to crack this open early. And Baroncelli just as much wanting to shut the door. The count is 1-1, 2 outs. Here's a pitch. Just at the bottom of the zone for a strike. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And while I know this is very early on in the game, you feel like both of these teams are trying to really assert themselves, and I feel in many ways this is an important at-bat, even though it's very early in the game. Here's the pitch. Connects, comebacker. Baroncelli gets it and makes the soft toss over the first base for out number 3. Great defensive play by A.J. Baroncelli, and makes sure that the runner on third doesn't come home, and the score remains 0-0 here going into the bottom of the first in just a moment. It is a very active day for all of our Ames sports. There's all kinds of sporting action going on at OA, on campus and off campus today. Some of the games that you can find, and also some of these games you can find on Easton Community Access Television, whether live right now or on delay through our YouTube page or on demand. At 3:45, so just starting a few moments ago, varsity boys lacrosse is playing King Philip at home. Also a 3:45 start, varsity boys tennis at Sharon High today. 3:45 start for varsity girls softball. They are at Sharon High. 3:45 start for varsity girls softball at Sharon High. So JV and varsity girls softball both at Sharon this afternoon. Varsity girls tennis is at home playing Sharon. And a 3:45 start for JV boys baseball, Sharon at home. And then JV girls lacrosse is playing at King Philip Regional High. At 5:15, JV boys lacrosse will be playing King Philip Regional at home. And then at 5:15 as well, the varsity girls lacrosse will be playing at King Philip Regional High School. So, again, a busy day for Oliver Ames sports. And you can catch a lot of these games on Easton Community Access Television, whether live or on demand. Well, I did mention that these teams are both in the Hockomock League. This is a league game. It counts for league standings. However, they are both in different divisions, so that means they will only play once this year. Typically, in the past, when they were both in the Davenport division, they would play both home games, home and away for Oliver Ames, but that will not be the case this year, and this year we'll play home. Next year we'll be playing away at Sharon. Last year, Oliver Ames swept the series, winning both games 7-2 and 4-3. And again, these teams are mirror images of each other in so many ways, and you have to feel like for both of these teams, they've marked this game on their schedule as a win. But when both teams believe they have the win one of them's not going to win, and so we sure do hope it's the Tigers that come out with a W today, but we will just have to see. As OA comes up to bat, Tommy Regan is first batter, and he's going to bounce a chopper to the shortstop, who collects and throws in time for out number 1. Again, your starting lineups brought to you by Rev T, audio video technology simplified for better. Number 2, A.J. Baroncelli will be hitting. Number 3, Henry Burr at first base. Number 4, Drew Hall, the catcher. Number 5, the left fielder, Tristan Tremblett. Number 6, Justin Phillips playing third base today. In the 7th spot, Ben Newton at center field. The right fielder, Colin LeMay, will be batting 8th. And at the bottom of the order, Cade Fowler, second base, will be batting number 9. And to Baroncelli, the count now is 0-1. Popped up, foul territory. And very quickly, he is down 0-2 in the count. A little bit of a different order today for the Tigers. Both of your captains, Andrew Whiteside and Harrison Fitzpatrick, are not on the field this afternoon, giving some opportunities to sophomore Henry Burr, as well as Tommy Regan, the junior, stepping in. So AJ down 1-2 in the count. Swings and misses for strike 3. 2 outs for Oliver Ames very quickly. Henry Burr, the sophomore, again coming in, playing first base today. Henry Burr's had 2 or 3 starts this year. It's his second start at home. Strike 1 is the call to Burr. Mason Silverman is the pitcher, as that is going to go between the diving second baseman and the third baseman for a base hit. Excellent swing and connection by Burr. We've got a runner on first and 2 outs. The catcher, Drew Hall, is coming up to the dish here in just a moment. And in a year where offensive production has been difficult for the Tigers, you have to admire Drew Hall's approach at the plate, and has done quite well for himself. And looking for one of those trademark doubles that he's pulled off several times this year, was to be a great time for one to get up early and try to bring a little bit of discouragement to the Sharon Eagles bench. The pitch to Drew comes in. Called strike. So far it looks like our umpire today has a little bit of a bigger strike zone, but seems consistent so far. Here's the pitch. Strike 2 as Drew looks at that pass by. Drew takes off his helmet, thinks about it for a minute, steps back into the box as Burr takes his lead on first. Here's the pitch from Mason Silverman, swings and misses, strike 3, and that will end the inning. Well, we'll be back in just a moment. The score so far, Eagles and Tigers, 0 apiece. We'll be back in a moment here on ECAT.
At ECAT, we're here to keep you connected and involved in the community. On ECAT, you can explore the town with Gail Devins.
Hello, I'm Gail Devins, and welcome to our show, Discover Easton.
Tell your story with Harrison Young on Topic Time.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Topic Time with Harrison Young on a...
Learn something new with the Ames Free Library. Relax with the Ron Van Dam Show.
Ron Van Dam Show, that's who I am. I'm Ron Van Dam. Thank you so much.
Check in on the latest in live town meetings.
2022 Select Board meeting, and Happy New Year.
Stay up to date with Oliver Ames High School news and live sports.
Tiger Talk.
Share your thoughts on the community forum.
Welcome to Community Forum.
And listen to some exciting new music. So stay connected with Easton Community Access Television.
Oh, man. That one game, you did that one. Early on in this contest, the score is 0-0, Eagles and Tigers. And the number 5 hitter, the shortstop, Matt Berkeley, will be coming up in just a moment. Just talking with Jack, our engineer, here this afternoon, and this is baseball weather, my friends. It's about 70 degrees. The sun is out. There's a light breeze blowing that doesn't really affect the game or the pitchers at all. And for the crowd that is ever growing here at Frothingham Park, they are in for a real treat today. And I think you're in for a treat as well, as we're looking at two teams really desperate for a win this afternoon. And I think we're going to be in for a scrappy affair between the Eagles and the Tigers. Again, A.J. Baroncelli is the starting pitcher for the Tigers this afternoon, who started last a week and a half ago on the matinee game before Easter, where he struck out 2, gave up several runs, but he is one of the Tigers' better pitchers, and you certainly are looking forward to him returning to form today. Made a great defensive play at the end of the last inning to grab that bouncer that could have easily gone over his head, but he stabbed it, brought it down, and took it over to first to end the inning and the damage, or the possibility of damage, with that runner on third. Well, Matt Berkeley, the 5 hitter, is up to bat. First pitch outside for a ball. And again, the weather here is absolutely exquisite. You're looking at the trees budding and blooming. And this is what baseball is all about. 1-1 is your count. Right at the bottom of the strike zone, 1-2. Berkeley is behind. He's a junior, batting lefty today. Popped up and out of play. Remains 1-2. Here's the throw. Down the third base line, but it is called foul. A few inches to the right, and you're looking at it, very likely a double. But it was not, and so Berkeley's going to return to the box, and the count stands at 1-2 as he stays alive. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss for strike 3. Second strikeout on the afternoon for A.J. Baroncelli. The third baseman, Harry LeBreau, comes up. He is the senior, one of 5 seniors who are starting today for Sharon. Outside for ball 1. Here's the pitch. Thought about it, checked his swing, and the count is 2-0. Gotta say, we've had a lot of home games so far this year. I believe this is our 4th or 5th home game, but this is definitely the most active bench that I've heard from any of the visiting teams so far. You like to hear that in high school baseball. Bouncer foul. 2 balls, 1 strike. It's good to see a team come in here to Frothingham this afternoon with a little bit of camaraderie, team spirit. Seem like they're enjoying themselves. It's good to see. Strikes out at it, and the connection is made. However, that is going to go right to the second baseman, who makes the throw to first for out number 2. The backstop, Adam McAuliffe, comes up. He is a senior as well. LeBreau kind of reached for that and took a stab at it. Unfortunately, hit it right to the second baseman, Cade Fowler, who was standing there waiting. Swing, a mighty swing and a miss. And just like that, he's down 0-2. Very early in this contest, the score is 0-0. Swing and a miss, strike 3. He is out and not happy about it. Third strikeout out of 6 outs so far for A.J. Baroncelli. Got to feel good about that as an Tigers fan. Tigers will be up here in just a moment, but in the meantime, we have your out-of-town scoreboard, and your out-of-town scoreboard is brought to you by the Easton Lions Club. Where there's a need, there's a lion. Last games for the Hockomock League were last Friday, and some of those scores included our Oliver Ames Tigers losing to Dighton Rehoboth 2-1, as I mentioned earlier in the broadcast. Other games that took place on Friday, Attleboro beat Bishop Feehan 8-4. Attleboro's offense had its second straight big game, this time erasing a 2-run deficit with 6 unanswered to land an impressive win over Bishop Feehan. Sharon was 10-run, as I mentioned just a few moments ago, by Dover Sherburne, 10-0. We have Stoughton beating Brockton 13-6. Brockton earned a win in extra innings at Stoughton earlier in the week, but the Black Knights returned the favor on Friday, scoring 13 unanswered runs in the final 2 innings to spoil the Boxers' first home game of the season at Campanelli Stadium. Franklin lost to North Quincy in extra innings, 3-2. Franklin twice erased a 1-run deficit to tie the game, but North Quincy pulled out a walk-off win in extra innings. Also have Foxborough 9, Seekonk 2, and Milford 9, Westboro 8. And that is your out-of-town scoreboard, again brought to you by the Easton Lions Club. As far as the Hockomock League standings right now, out of 6 teams in the Kelly Rex division, Sharon is tied at the bottom with Franklin with a 1-5 conference record. And Oliver Ames tied for 4th place in the Davenport division, knotted up with Foxborough, both with a 2-4 record in league play. Down at the bottom of the second, the score is still 0-0, and Tristan Tremblett, playing left field today, comes up to bat. A mighty swing and a miss for strike 1 from Tristan. Again, Mason Silverman, a sophomore, pitching today. Hit foul and out of play. Mason Silverman logged in 15 innings of work last year for Sharon. Ball is mighty high there. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Tremblett takes that pitch, which was close, but a ball. So he stays alive. The count is 2-2. Check swing, and he is told that is strike 3. And Tremblett tried to stop himself, but just moved those wrists around far enough to register the strikeout. And Silverman himself now has his 3rd strikeout on the afternoon. The third baseman, Justin Phillips, stands in next for the Tigers. Silverman with the pitch. Swung through and missed, although the ball did go past the catcher there. The count is 0-1. 1 out. No score so far here at Frothingham. Well outside for a ball. Phillips asked for time, steps out. Silverman deals. Strong hit to center field where it's going to drop for a base hit. Phillips registers a single. And we got a runner on first with 1 out, and Ben Newton, the center fielder, stepping up to the plate next. Mentioned Brockton playing that game just a few days ago at Campanelli Stadium. It's a great place to be able to catch a ball game if you've ever been able to see either the Brockton Boxers there or the Brockton Rocks, the professional team that plays there. Been playing semi-pro baseball for the last few years. In fact, was in the Futures League up until last year, and this year has re-entered the Frontier League, and it's going to be a really great season for them. 1 ball and 1 strike for Newton. If you've ever been over to a Rocks game at Campanelli, I would encourage you to go do so. It's a fun place to go watch baseball. You got some young, hungry players out there. As Silverman checks on the runner. In the meantime, Newton calls time, but steps in. Silverman checking again. And the pitch. Well outside for a ball. 2-1. That game against New Bedford last Tuesday, OA was very active on the bases with 7 stolen bases. We'd love to see that today. That's going to be a chopper to the second baseman, who fumbles the attempt at throwing to the shortstop. However, in the meantime, he kind of pushes the ball towards the shortstop covering second, and that means that Tristan is out. However, on the fielder's choice, Newton is going to make it. Rather, Phillips is out, and Newton makes it on the fielder's choice. So one ball, or rather 2 outs, and a runner on first base, and Colin LeMay here for his first at bat of the day, and he quickly connects to the third baseman who catches the soft liner for out number 3. Well, we're finished with 2, and we remain scoreless here at Frothingham. Stick with us. We'll be back in a moment here on ECAT.
There's a storm.
Join me, Priscilla Almquist-Olsen, to explore the town of Easton and its interesting, engaging, ordinary, and extraordinary people, and meet a smorgasbord of guests, including artists, authors, musicians, business owners, community organizations, clergy, local leaders, etc., etc., etc. Community Forum at 3 p.m. on Thursdays and 1:30 p.m. on Saturdays. See you then.
Yeah, we're good. We're back at Worcester Field, and we remain scoreless here this afternoon for the contest between the Eagles in the maroon and white and your OA Tigers in their home orange uniforms this afternoon. So far, both A.J. Baroncelli as well as the pitcher for Sharon, Mason Silverman, both registering 3 strikeouts. Both teams have wanted to manufacture some runs thus far in the game, but are struggling to do so. And again, both teams wanting to break out, both teams wanting to score. You can almost feel, I don't know if the desperation is the word we want to use, but you could feel the need to win this game today and to try to make a statement. And I think we are going to remain in. I think we're going to be seeing some scrappy baseball this afternoon. So as we get to the 8th spot here of the order, we have Soham Kulkarni. Soham Kulkarni was actually the offensive MVP for Sharon last year. As he steps in, count is 1-0. Kulkarni has the hot bat for Sharon. Outside for ball 2. Count is 2-0. So yeah, both pitchers striking out 3 so far in this game. Both offenses looking to make something happen here. Just on the outside of the zone. 3 balls and no strikes. Baroncelli deals right there at the heart of the zone. 3 balls and 1 strike. And the pitch again. Swings and goes foul. Baroncelli battling back here. The count is now 3-2. It is full. Kulkarni steps out of the box for a moment, thinks about it. Here's the pitch. Also foul. Count remains 3-2. Oliver Ames looking for their first home win of the year. They were close against Mansfield in their home opener. Just outside the zone, and that will be a leadoff walk for Kulkarni. And the bottom of the order, the second baseman, Brody Lasser, comes up to the plate. Kulkarni already showing signs that he wants to run. We'll see how that plays out during this sequence here as AJ looks over and pitches. Lasser shows bunt. Strike one is called. Might be looking for a sacrifice here to move the runner around. See what happens. 0-1 of the count, no outs. No runs here so far for either side here in the top of the third inning at Frothingham. Pickoff attempt is made, and Kulkarni slides back into first. Head coach of Sharon, Larry Yaffe, was mentioning that for them, pitching and defense were going to be some of the places that they needed to really work on this year. In an interview with Hockomock Sports a few weeks ago. And so far for them with a fairly experienced staff, but yet at the same time some room for growth. That's exactly what they're looking for here today. And Mason Silverman so far in just 2 innings of work, striking out 3 of 6, or rather 3 of the 6 outs rather being strikeouts. Sign of a good, strong, young pitcher as he's a sophomore. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Again, Brody Lasser at the plate. He's a senior, second baseman. Bottom of the order. High, ball 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. No outs. The leadoff hitter, Ari Grossman, on deck. And Kulkarni on first. Still kind of looking to run there, but has not pulled the trigger yet. We'll watch as the pitch is made. In the dirt, Drew picks up and throws, and it will be about 2 or 3 seconds behind. Drew did a great job of keeping that ball in front of him, ensuring that the runner didn't take third as well. The pass ball here at Frothingham is always 1, if not 2 bases because of the distance from home plate to the backstop. Kept it in front of him and kept the runner from going further, but the double play is now off the table. Strike 3 called as Lasser watches it go by, and he'll take a seat. There is 1 out as Baroncelli strikes out his 4th on the day. Again, the leadoff hitter, Ari Grossman, comes back for his 2nd turn at the dish. Hit a single in the first inning. High for a ball. Again, Kulkarni now on second in scoring position, 1 out. Low for a ball. AJ's had to work himself back into counts the last few at-bats. He'll have to do the same here. 2 balls, no strikes, 1 out. Pop fly into foul territory, and Henry Burr is going to try to go after it, but it's too far to make a play on it. 2 balls, 1 strike now to the leadoff hitter. Fans continuing to filter in here at Frothingham. Just above the zone, 3 balls and 1 strike. And again, this is a Chamber of Commerce kind of day to come watch a ball game. Couldn't get much better weather than what we're experiencing right now. Strike 2 called. Count now is full once again. Although AJ has expended quite a few pitches so far early, getting behind in counts, he's been battling back each time. Swing and a miss, strike 3. And that's another strikeout for AJ with the pitcher now, Mason Silverman, coming to bat. He grounded out in the first. Again, Sharon desperate to get that runner from second to home. Strike 1. Quick strike, getting ahead in the count, what AJ needs there. Again, Silverman, 3 strikeouts himself so far on the day on the bump. He's a sophomore. Strike 2 on the corner. Well placed there as Silverman watches it go by. 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runner on second. and I think time was called right before the pitch was made. Umpire is having a quick discussion with Silverman, who's back in, so that ball will not count. 0-2. Pop up to center field. Ben Newton is trying to get under it to make the catch on the berm and misses the catch under the tree. 1 run will score, and the throw into second is going to be bumbled by Tommy Reagan, and unfortunately, Mason Silverman is going to have a double. I think that will be ruled a double. Ben Newton had a difficult play to make there because he is under the tree on the berm. The shadows are there, trying to be able to look into the sun and make that catch. It's not an easy play to make there, folks, and so a tough one there for Ben Newton, but a run will score, and that means Sharon is going to draw first blood. They are up 1-0, and a runner remains on second. 2 outs. The number 3 hitter, Matt Cronin, will come up. Struck out in the first inning. Foul for an 0-1 count. Boy, that was unfortunate. You don't really want to call that an error on Newton. However, that does mean that's an earned run for Baroncelli. Swing and a miss, strike 2 to the same position he was at the last at bat. Needs 1 more strike to get out of this inning. 1-0 is the score. Sharon Eagles are now ahead. Fouled off once again. Yeah, that run there is really not a reflection on AJ because that was catchable. Popped up once again. We'll be in foul territory as Drew Hall attempts to make the catch, but it goes into the grandstands and foul. No harm, no foul. Watch out there, Eric. Just past our broadcast location. He is safe, it looks like. Count remains 0-2. Runner still on second. Eagles up by 1 here in the third. AJ with the pitch. It's going to be hit over the extended glove of Cade Fowler, and the throw is going to come to the cutoff man, but that will score another run. Sharon now up 2-0 as Cronin hits a liner right over the extended glove of Fowler, who reached up and needed about 2 more inches to grab it. Fully extended, could not make the catch. Unfortunately, that means the Eagles are up by 2 with the cleanup hitter, Cole Arundale, the captain, up next. Again, AJ 1 strike away from closing out this part of the inning, twice over, each time an unfortunate turn of events on his part. Hit to center that was not able to be fielded, and then a liner that was just over the reaching glove of Cade Fowler. But baseball is a game of inches in so many ways, and because of that, the score is now 2-0. Runner on first, and again, the cleanup hitter is at bat, their designated hitter for the afternoon. Here's the pitch from AJ. Just outside of the zone, 1 ball and no strikes. If you're AJ right now, you just have to settle in, know that you're pitching some good stuff right now, and just keep right at it. And he plunks the hitter, who seems to take that better than most hitters I've seen watching baseball. So the runner is, the hitter is hit by a pitch, turns around and screams at his his dugout in delight. That is a very hard way to get a base on balls, but I'll admire his tenacity, if nothing else, for that. But if you're a Tigers fan, you have that feeling that this inning could get out of hand, and so Coach Abar and the fellas come in to talk to AJ about it a little bit. Got runners on first and second, 2 outs, and the score 2-0. Game was scoreless through 2 innings. Sharon scored 2. The inning opened up with a ball that was not able to be made a play on in center field by the center fielder Newton, and the inning remains open right now with runners on first and second, 2 outs, and it's time to shut this thing down if you're the Tigers. Matt Berkeley The shortstop who struck out in the second inning is back up to bat. That's a good way to start. 0-1. Looks at the runners and throws. Connected again to Newton, who is going to run and make the catch for out number 3. Well, Sharon scores 2 at the top of the third, and OA will be up in a moment, but the Eagles are ahead now 2-0. Got some community events to be able to inform you about, and the community events we have today are brought to you by Morse Insurance. It's Morse, of course. As far as community events, of course, we had a town election on Saturday. Those results have been announced and have been disseminated. Congratulations to those who were on the ballot and won. However, there are more opportunities for you to exercise your right to vote over the next few days and weeks. On Wednesday, May 7th from 6 to 8 p.m., there is a PACE open house. And at that open house, you can learn more about the upcoming budget as well as the possible override vote. There's a special primary election for precincts 4A, 5, and 6 coming up at Oliver Ames High School on May 13th from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., and that's a primary for the 3rd Bristol District State Representative to fill in the seat for Carol Doherty, who passed away a few months ago. Then, of course, we have annual town meeting, voting on town business, budgets, and the override coming up on Monday, May 19th at 7 p.m. That will be at the Oliver Ames High School auditorium. And then there will be a special town election for the override, as well as a special state election coming up on Tuesday, June 10th from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. That will also be at Oliver Ames. Also coming up, the drive-through drug take-back day on Saturday, April 26th at, well, that would be 2 days ago. So, well, anyway, we'll mark that off. I hope that you take advantage of that next year. And if you have any medications that you need to drop off, you can always drop those off at your local CVS. Well, as we hit the bottom of the third right now, we are looking at the bottom of the order as Cade Fowler steps to the plate. Cade's first time at the dish so far. That was a bit outside, but a called strike. Foul tip, strike 2. Again, Silverman, the pitcher, helping himself in the last inning, but also striking out 3 on his own as well. Silverman kind of broke that last inning open with that double to center. Cade steps back in. Here we got an 0-2 count. And Silverman, here's the pitch. Tapped it foul. Out of play. We're still looking at an 0-2 count. Cade settles in, and the throw from Silverman. Strike 3 is called as he watches it go by. Again, that is seemingly hitting the edge of the zone or just outside the zone, but that's been consistently called so far by our umpire today. And so Fowler will sit down as Silverman registers his 4th strikeout on the afternoon. We are back to the top of the order, and Tommy Reagan will come back to bat. Reagan looking for his first hit of the day. Inside, just past the knuckles. Ball 1. Here's the pitch. Connects to a bouncer to the second baseman, who makes the throw to first for out number 2. Second ground out for Tommy Reagan on the afternoon. A.J. Baroncelli is going to come back, try to help his cause here in the bottom of the third. Struck out back in the first. Here's the pitch. No doubt that was low for ball one. I'll tell you the difference of the weather today, and we're talking about the election on Saturday, town elections. Boy, that was a very, very bad weather day. It was raining most of the day. I'm sure glad there was no baseball, but we've got quite a different afternoon here at Frothingham. 2 balls, no strikes. Bounced foul. 2-1 is the count. AJ back to the plate. Catcher stops, or rather the pitcher stops to think about it for a moment. Now deals. Low for a ball. 3 balls and 1 strike. Just getting on base now would be optimal for the Tigers. That's going to be a bouncer to the third baseman who is going to clutch, make the throw, and it will be in time for out number 3. Well, we're at the end of 3 innings so far, and the Eagles are up 2-0. We'll be back in a moment here on ECAT.
Hey there, I'm Gail Devins, and join me as we discover all the businesses that made Easton great. This is a wonderful, wonderful place. I cannot wait. I want to do it. I want to go there. I am definitely coming back, and I know you will too, because I'm telling you something. It is absolutely amazing in here. What a wonderful way to discover Easton. It's right here in Easton. Showing at noon on Mondays, 2 p.m. on Tuesdays, and 11 a.m. on Fridays, only on ECAT.
Back at Frothingham, and the score remains 2-0 with Sharon on top. AJ Baroncelli, 5 strikeouts so far on the afternoon, however, gave up 2 unfortunate runs in the last inning. Again, I'm not the official scorekeeper, so I can't call that fly out to center field, right center field, an error. But however you want to slice it, boy, it's hard to be able to lay that at his feet. And again, a difficult catch to be able to make out there in the shadows, under the tree, on the berm. It was a 10 out of 10 difficulty. AJ starts off strong with a strike. Harry Libro is up first, following by Adam McAuliffe and Soham Kulkari. Those are your first 3 batters for Sharon here in the 4th. Strong hit out into center field, and Tremblett's going to run. It's going to be over his head. He takes a stab at it, picks it up, throws to the cutoff man, and that will be a stand-up double for Harry Libro. Strong hit there by Libro. He got all of that ball. Tremblett running, was not able to make the catch, but did a good job making sure he got it through to the cutoff man, and that the runner did not advance even further to third base. Well, that's going to bring Coach Abar back out to the mound as he talks with AJ Baroncelli, and he's actually going to be subbed out of the game right now. And so you got to feel it a little bit for AJ. Struck out 5, but yet at the same time it seems that Sharon has been able to tag him here and there, and Coach Abar thinks that it is time for him to be able to call it a day. And so, tough one there for AJ Baroncelli. Coming in for relief for Oliver Ames is Alex Sade. So A.J. Baroncelli's final stats for the afternoon will be 3 innings pitched, 5 strikeouts, a base on ball, gave up 4 hits, and 2 earned runs. Alex Sade will get a few moments. I have to be honest, I didn't see if he was warming up already in the pen before, and so he's going to get a few pitches to ready himself, as many as he is allowed, and we'll be back at the action here in just a moment. Again, both teams struggling on offense so far this year, both teams just trying to be able to crack this thing open, and Sharon so far has been able to put a little bit more of the metal on the ball. That last one especially was absolutely cranked out to left center field. And Alex Sade, who has come in before in relief and has done well, is looking for the same this afternoon, probably a little bit earlier than he might have expected. If he wants to go the distance, he'll have to pitch 4 innings of relief. But he's looking at a runner on second, no outs, and the catcher, Adam McAuliffe, coming up to bat. Now, McAuliffe did strike out in the second inning. Drew Hall and Alex are having a conversation there on the mound with the umpire, making sure everything is ready here and raring to go. Looks like it is, as the umpire will start his walk back to home. And we're going to get ready for more baseball action. Now, the good news is there's plenty of baseball here to go. 2 innings, or rather 2-run lead is there's a lot that the Tigers can do here. Although their offensive production has been low, they have come out in spurts, just like they did against New Bedford a few days ago. And so there's plenty of ball game left here. Sade with the pitch. Shows bunt, and Sade with the throw to first will get the runner for the out. Nope. He's called safe by the second base umpire, I believe. That is correct. And a sacrifice bunt turned into a single for McAuliffe. We're looking at runners on the corners now, no outs. And again, the offensive MVP for Sharon last year, Solheim Kulkari, comes up to bat. This is a dangerous situation here for the Tigers. Sade with the pitch. Swings through for strike. Sharon wanting to hang a few more on the board here in the 4th. Runner goes. Drew Hall with the throw into third instead to make sure that that runner does not break towards home. Smart play there by Drew Hall, allowing the runner to advance to second, but ensuring that the run does not score. However, that does take the double play off of the table. So you have runners both in scoring position, no outs. 0-2 is your count. Just outside the zone for a ball. Kulkarni walked last inning. Sade. Pop fly, very shallow, right to the second baseman, or shortstop rather. Tommy Reagan standing next to second. Out number 1. Bottom of the order, Brody Lasser at the bat. Struck out with a mighty swing back in the previous inning. This will be a big stop for OA if they can ensure that neither of these runs or either of these runners that represent 2 possible runs score. Alex in a high leverage situation here. Registered the first out. Here's the pitch. Low for ball 1. Drew making sure that that does not skirt by and possibly scoring 2 runs. Excellent stop there. 1 ball, no strikes. Again, the score is 2-0 Sharon, but they're knocking on the door. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Another mighty swing from Brody Lasser. 1 ball, 1 strike. Big sequence here for Sade. Getting him to sit down would take a lot of this pressure off. He looks to bunt, but misses the bunt, and the runner from third streaks back. He's in the pickle. Watch out. And he's going to get tagged out for out number 2. Great heads-up play from Oliver Ames. Good job by Drew Hall and Justin Phillips, as the runner on third, for some reason, thought that he could break ahead and go towards home on the attempted bunt. Got way ahead of himself, and because of that, we're looking at a completely different situation now. We're looking at 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs, a runner on second. 1 more strike is all we need. Here we go, Alex. Let's go. Here's the pitch. Struck him out, and that will end the inning. Great job there by Oliver Ames. Great job all around on defense to make sure that neither of those runners score. They had 2 runners in scoring position and no outs, and they were able to hold them. Good job, Tigers. Well, we'll be back in a moment here on ECAT for the top of the 5th.
Hello and welcome to Easton News. I'm Joe Taft.
And I'm Jack Ryan, and together we bring you everything you need to know about Easton, including politics.
The Town of Easton is undertaking a crucial public safety and public works facilities replacement project to enhance essential services for the community.
Community events.
Mark your calendars and get your costumes ready. The Easton Food Pantry will be hosting a Halloween parade.
And sports.
Boys soccer stayed hot, defeating Stoughton 2-1. That was the team's 5th straight division title and 4th in a row in the Davenport.
With APCSM guest segment Pet of the Week.
Hi, I'm Katie with the Animal Protection Center, and today we have a little Iris.
With help from special correspondent Wyatt Fain. Join us
For Easton News.
Playing 6 o'clock Friday, Saturday, and Sundays.
If Oliver Ames wins this game today, we're going to look at that last sequence as a very pivotal moment in this contest. Welcome back to the action here at Frothingham Park. Runners on second and third, no outs. Alex Sade coming in relief on short notice, comes in and registers the 3 outs. On top of catching that runner there in the pickle, I mean, it was a team effort there. Man, that was exciting. Well, we are in the bottom half of the 4th inning. And we're looking at Henry Burr up at bat in the 3-hole this afternoon. Playing first base, he had a single back in the 1st inning. I get some of my statistics put into place here from the last inning. It's always interesting to be able to call a game and score a game at the same time, but we're getting it done, and I hope you appreciate the effort on your end. I'm sure that you do, but I want to try to get you as many statistics here as possible as the game goes on. Silverman with his first pitch. Burr swings through for a strike. And you want to look at that last half inning as maybe some sort of momentum switch. The real test of that is going to be a very slow roller where the catcher and the pitcher are going to fight over it. Unfortunately, Burr is not able to leg that out, and that will be out number 1. That ball traveled about 4 to 5 feet there, and the only hope there was that Burr was going to be able to run it out, as there's a little bit of confusion there between the catcher and the pitcher who is going to grab it. But unfortunately, that is out number 1 with Drew Hall up to bat. He's batting cleanup today, and that's going to be a base hit right down the heart of the field. Excellent hit there by Drew. Once again, he is coming up with offensive production for Oliver Ames, and that's the 3rd hit so far of the game for OA. Tristan Tremblett is going to be coming up to bat. See if we can build on that. A runner on first and 1 out. Tremblett struck out earlier this contest. Pinch runner is going in for Drew Hall as per high school rules allow. If I can get that number, I'll make sure to pass that on to you. Silverman looks over. And the runner goes back to first. I believe that's Evan Zamilo there on the base paths. And he runs. No, he comes back. Boy, he looked like he was breaking towards second and jumped back, but that is foul for strike one. Again, OA stole 7 bases last Tuesday. Won the game on singles and steals. And that'd be okay today, too, if that happened. Silverman thinks about it for quite a while and then looks over, considering a pickoff attempt, and does not. Silverman's been pretty businesslike so far today in his pitching, but slowed down quite a bit. Could be called a foul tip for strike two. And Tremblett is down in the count, 0-2. Zamilo, again, if nothing else, quite the distraction to Silverman there on first base. And he runs. Pop up as Zamilo's going to have to run back because the catch is going to be made in foul territory. Good job by Evan, made it all the way to second. Had to run back to first and slide to make sure that that was not a double play, particularly at the placement of where that foul ball was caught. So Tremblett is out. Phillips will step into the plate. Low for ball one. Boy, you got to feel it there for Evan. He basically stole 2 bases. He ran at full speed to second, and then because of the pop out being right next to first base in foul territory, he had to run just as quickly back over the head for ball 2. So Evan showcasing some speed there, but it was a difficult moment there. 3 balls, no strikes for Phillips. Evan Zamilo pinch running on first right now. 3 balls, 1 strike now is the count. 2 outs. Sharon up by 2. Zamilo goes. Pitcher or catcher's going to throw, and it will not be in time as the ball bounces away in front of second base. However, that would be ball number 4, and so that means we have runners on first and second. Silverman gives up his first walk of the afternoon, and Ben Newton comes up. If you're OA looking at having 2 runners, one of those in scoring position is certainly a good thing. Drew Hall has certainly come up big this afternoon, not just with his hit a few moments ago, but also heads-up play, ensuring that that runner who got caught on the attempted sacrifice bunt ended up getting stranded in between third and home and made sure he got him in the rundown. So far, another strong effort from Drew. Also, a couple of wild pitches that very likely could have gotten past him that he made sure that he stopped, which again is always one of the real difficulties here at Frothingham because any passed ball, any wild pitch becomes a very, very difficult thing. Well, if you're an OA fan, you're encouraged by the fact that the tying run is on base. The go-ahead run is at the plate. There are 2 outs, so let's see what happens as Ben Newton steps up to the dish. Here's the first pitch. Low, but called strike. 0-1. Zamilo on second. Phillips on first. Zamilo thinking about going. Tipped foul. Strike 2, and very quickly, Newton's down in the count. Silverman looking for 1 more strike to end the inning. And Silverman thinks about it. Certainly, Zamilo is distracting him on the mound. You can tell the cadence of his pitches has changed quite a bit. Zamilo taking a generous lead. Second baseman Brody Lasser is attempting to put himself into place if the pickoff attempt is made. Silverman looks. He looks again and pitches. Fly ball into shallow center where the catch will be made for out number 3. Well, OA knocking at the door, but unfortunately no runs scored at the bottom of the 4th. Going into the 5th inning, it is Sharon 2, OA nothing. We'll be back in a moment here on ECAT.
Oh, I didn't see you there.
Sick of all the new shows and movies dominating pop culture? Well, have no fear, because Old Time Movie and Old Time TV are here, where we like to add our own flair.
There's a truck out front, and if we could just get the keys.
Man, are you crazy? Are you out of your mind? Those are flesh-eating zombies. They upended our car, okay? We're lucky to be alive, especially Joe. I had to pull him out of the trunk, for crying out loud.
It's been a long day.
Also, make sure to check out the Radiocast, our accompanying podcast where we talk about what we've watched.
There was a lot of moments of just Mac on the raft going down the river, just internal monologuing over and over and over.
We show the classics and nothing but the classics. Well, except for the weird ones. Check us out on all our channels as well as our YouTube.
I think we're good. It's a low-scoring affair here at Worcester Field as the Eagles remain ahead by 2. We're going to be hitting the top of the order here with Ari Grossman, followed by Mason Silverman and Matt Cronin, representing the 1, 2, 3 spots in the order. Again, Sharon and Oliver Ames had some opportunities in the last inning. Neither were able to capitalize, and so the score remains 2-0. The only runs scored so far in this contest were back in the 3rd inning. Strike 1 called as Sade continues in his 2nd inning of relief for A.J. Baroncelli. Outside for a ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Can you feel that energy here this afternoon that these are 2 teams that are needing a win? Foul off the ankle, strike 2. We have a game, or rather a team that's 2-8, another one that's 3-6, and both of them are looking at the other one on the calendar, thinking it's a win. You can end up getting into some pretty, scrappy, I would say the word I would use, situations where you just, you know that you need that win and you feel like this is a really good opportunity to get a W. And I think both teams feel that today. 2-2. Strike 3 called. 2nd K for Sade as Silverman comes up to bat. Grossman, or rather Grossman, who just was at bat, is now 2 strikeouts on the day. And Silverman coming up is 1-2. His last at bat was that double. And that is going to be another strongly hit ball to Colin LeMay. It's going to be over his head. And here he goes once again. The throw is going to be made to the cutoff man. He's thinking about taking 3. The throw is going to be made to third base. And it's going to be not in time as Silverman, the pitcher, registers his 2nd extra base hit of the afternoon. A double and a triple for Silverman, helping his own cause, and 1 out and a runner on 3rd. And once again, another leverage situation for the Tigers. Got to admire Silverman's grit this afternoon as he has a pinch runner go in for him. Brady Shuffane, a sophomore, will now step in at third for Silverman. But even as a Tigers fan, you do have to admire that Silverman's putting on a clinic this afternoon. He's throwing no-hit baseball and also a double and a triple so far in the contest. Here's the pitch from Sade, high for a ball. Matt Cronin, the junior, playing first today. Back up for his third trip to the plate. Looking for an RBI. Strike at the corner, 1-1. Of course, for the Tigers, you've been here before last inning. You're able to shut them down. You're looking to do the same here. Today, pitches. And sinker outside the zone for a ball. 2 balls, 1 strike. Sade has come in some pretty gritty relief appearances in the past, and so he is used to handling these types of situations. Strong hit to right field, and LeMay is going to back up, and it's going to go over his head once again. Very similar to the last play. A run will be registered for Sharon, and that is a stand-up double for Cronin. 3-0 Eagles. Runner on second, as the Tigers are going to gather together and talk about this a little bit. And without a doubt, you were looking for the opportunity to shut them down again as you did the last inning. That did not happen in this case. So there's a runner on second. There is 1 out. Sade remains in relief. The cleanup hitter, Cole Arundale. Their pitcher playing DH today. Coach Yaffe for Sharon comes out to discuss something quickly, which is third base coach, and goes back. Well, Sharon scores the first run of the game since the third inning when they scored 2. And so we've got a 3-0 contest with the DH and the cleanup hitter at the plate. A little bit of a dust devil out there, looks like right now. You got a little bit of swirling wind running past the infield. Looks like it's coming past. I don't know if you could see that on the broadcast, but it's it's coming right for us. Oh man, let's hold everything down here, fellas. That was very strange. All right, that's passed, and we're back to the ball game. Ball in the dirt, 1-0. And again, Sharon is back to the noise they were making in the first and second inning because they're enjoying this lead. Here's a pitch. Swings right through it. Strike 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1 out. And if you're just joining us, Sharon is up by 3. We're in the top of the 5th. There is a runner on second. To dust off all of our stuff here with that. That was very strange. A little, we used to call them dust devils when I lived in Florida. That is foul. But just like a little bit of circulation there. Looked like a very tiny, very slow-moving tornado coming through here. Seemed to stop the game for just a moment, but that's about most of the wind that we've had this afternoon other than a slight breeze. Again, runner on second. Considering running. Here's the throw. Outside, ball 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. There's a pinch runner, or rather a substitute runner on second. That is Ethan Sparciano. Sparciano on second. Alex with the pitch. Swings and misses. Strike 3. And that was needed if it ever was. And that's the 3rd strikeout for Alex this afternoon in his 2nd inning of relief. Shortstop, Matt Berkeley, comes up 0 for 2 on the afternoon. Runner remains on second. Looking to hold Sharon to this 1 run here in the 5th. Low, ball 1. And again, another pressure situation for the Tigers, not wanting to get any more runs on the board or allow any more runs on the board for Sharon. Today coming in relief for A.J. Baroncelli. 5 strikeouts on the day, but also giving up runs and starting to get hit pretty hard. Coach Abar made the tough decision to pull him early in the contest. 1-1, 2 outs, runner on second, top of the 5th. Today looks at second. And the pitch. Fouled off. 1-2. Today now looking at one more strike to end this half inning. One of the things certainly that you have to appreciate about the Tigers this year is that in years past, particularly last year, 1-run inning, 2-run innings could very quickly unravel. Strike 3 called, and that will sit him down. And the 4th strikeout for Sadeh. And the damage there for Oliver Ames was limited to 1 as Sharon does extend their lead 3-0 here against the Tigers. Well, we have some community events for you once again, and our community events are brought to you by Morse Insurance. It's Morse, of course. Well, we do want to remind you about the annual water quality report for 2024. The Easton Water Division is pleased to announce the availability of the 2024 Consumer Confidence Report, which is available on the Water Division webpage. You can find it at easton.ma.us. Also, we do want to remind you that the Easton 300th anniversary is upon us, and there's all kinds of community events that are taking place in honor of Easton's 300th birthday, starting back in 1725. And you'll find on easton300.org all kinds of information like a parade coming up in July, fireworks in August, and all types of other cultural community events. You don't want to miss them. Some of them have already passed, but there's plenty more that you can get involved in, and you can find them all at easton300.org. Then finally, there's also several different events that are taking place at the Ames Free Library. Ames Free Library, really just an incredible resource here in our town. And if you haven't already, make sure that you head over to their website. You can find them at easton.ma.us. You can also Google Ames Free Library, and you'll find them there for all types of programming, not just at the library, but also at the Queeset House as well. Just there last week. And I want to tell you, listen, I know you're watching for baseball, but I'll also give you a really good tip. You got to go to the Queeset House and find their used book sale. They have it just about every day. I believe it starts at noon from about 5 o'clock here or there. Hardbacks $2, soft covers $1. You're not going to find a bargain like that anywhere. Get over to the Queeset House. They're not even paying me to say that, folks. You got to go check it out. Well, we're in the bottom of the 5th, and Colin LeMay is at his second turn at the plate. He lined out back in the second inning and took a mighty, mighty cut there for strike 2. For some reason, they are mowing the grass right now, and LeMay skies it to center field where Jacob Meto makes the catch for out number 1. Does seem like an awkward time to mow the grass when there's a game going on. That's okay. Stick with us. We are going to hold firm here in our broadcast position, whether it's Dust Devils, whether it's cut grass, whether it's the darkness of night. We are going to stay with you for this Easton Oliver Ames baseball action. We're at the bottom of the order. Cade Fowler back up and struck out back in the 3rd. 1 out. Sharon's up by 3. Well outside for a ball. Again, Silverman only given up 3 hits, scattered them over these 4+ innings thus far. Struck out 4, walked 1, and is also 2 for 3 on the day, including 2 multiple base hits. A bouncer towards third base that is going to be played, however, just went foul right before it was. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Cade as he makes his way back to the batter's box. Cade digs himself into the dirt there, and here comes the pitch from Silverman. taps it foul and out of play. Really stretched himself. That probably was outside of the zone, but stepped out, poked at it, but foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Cade Fowler ready for the pitch. That's going to go into the gap for a base hit, and that could be multiple bases as it goes up the berm. Great hit there by Fowler, who is going to slide into second for his first hit of the day and the 4th hit for Oliver Ames thus far. Great connection there by Cade Fowler, and that gives us our top of the order coming up with Tommy Reagan. I'll tell you, I knew that he got hold of that ball, but that one just kept going and going and going. I thought that was probably going to fall into shallow right center field. However, it had some distance on it, and then it just kept rolling up onto the berm. And when you get over to the berm, you're looking at about 350 feet or so. So he got good contact on that, just what the doctor ordered, and we're looking at a runner on second with 1 out, and that's going to be a wild pitch. It's going to bring Cade to third base. McAuliffe not able to handle that pitch that was outside, and that means we've got a runner on third, folks, with 1 out, and as close as we have been to getting someone home just about that I can remember so far this game. So 1 ball, no strikes, 1 out. Cade Fowler on third, looking to go that 90 feet towards home. Fouled off. 1-1 is the count. Silverman facing his first real pressure situation so far of the contest. Has not really had to deal with that thus far in a serious way. And to have a runner 90 feet away with 1 out certainly represents a situation for this sophomore. Boy, I tell you, he has showed a lot of poise for a sophomore so far this afternoon, and you have to think that he's got a very, very bright future ahead of him in the Hockomock League. Reagan back in, 1-1, 1 out. Right back, a comebacker that he can't handle, and it's going to be thrown to first, and he will be out. I wasn't sure if Silverman was going to be able to make it, but he took a stab at it and got it and was able to register the out, and that makes Reagan 0 for 3 on the afternoon. Alex Sade now in, who subbed in for A.J. Baroncelli so earlier in the game, and so now Sade at the dish as the number 2 hitter. Whoa, almost hit him right there, outside for a ball. Great poise from Sade. He didn't move his feet, but just leaned back a little bit. That would have been in his ear if he hadn't. A chopper is going to be handled by the shortstop. Throw to first is a little bit high, but will score the runner. No, will not score the runner because that was out number 3. A little bit of a miscount there. I was hoping that was going to bring the runner across the plate. It did not, however, and the Tigers were close, but not close enough. Well, we're going to hit the 6th inning here in just a second, but in the meantime, we'll be taking a break. Stay with us. Easton 0 and Sharon 3. By Doug King Builders. With more than 50 years of experience designing and building over 1,500 homes and 50 commercial properties, with over 400 apartments for rent. For more information about Doug King Builders, visit dakbuilders.com. Well, so far for two teams that are looking to be able to get into the win column, Sharon so far has got the better of OA. Oliver Ames has only registered so far 4 hits on the afternoon, scattered over 5 innings. Perhaps their best opportunity at scoring was represented in the last inning, and they were not able to bring the runner home from third. Sharon scored 2 in the third and then added another 1 in the fifth. And the real story of the afternoon has to be the pitcher for Sharon, and Mason Silverman so far in 5 innings of work, having struck out 4, having only given up 4 hits, no earned runs, and then also 2 for 3 on the afternoon with a double and a triple. Well, it is the top of the 6th, and as the sun is going down here at beautiful Frothingham Park, we're looking to see OA to shut down the Eagles here at the top of the 6th and then hang some runs on the board in the bottom. First pitch for today is low for a ball. Harry Libro back for his 3rd turn at bat. Had a double back in the 4th. Strike 1 called. 1-1 is the count. Sade entering his 3rd inning of relief. Struck out 4 already. Libro takes the pitch directly to the first baseman, who is going to take it himself back to the bag for out number 1. Second ground out of the afternoon for Libro. The catcher, Adam McAuliffe, comes up next with a strikeout and a single on the afternoon. McAuliffe batting left. Here's the throw. Pop up to second base, and Tommy Regan, the shortstop, will settle under it for the easy out. And very quickly, Sharon's down, looking at their last out here for the top of the 6th. Solheim Kukari come up. Again, the offensive MVP for Sharon last year, but so far has 0 for 1 mark against him on the day. 1 ball, no strikes, 2 outs here in the top of the 6th. Here's the pitch. A ripper right to Justin Phillips, who makes the catch on the line out for out number 3. 3rd inning of relief completed for Alex Sade, and the score remains 3-0 here at Frothingham Park. Give you a few more community events that will be taking place. Easton Egg Fest 2025. Now, I know what you're thinking. Egg Fest, you're thinking of those $8 dozen of eggs, but we're not talking about chicken eggs. We're talking about the ultimate community grilling event, the Big Green Egg. Join us at Fernandez Lumber at Ace Home Center for a day filled with delicious food, fun, and activities, and great company. Whether you're a seasoned grill master or just enjoy a good barbecue, this event is perfect for everyone. Taste a variety of dishes cooked on the Big Green Egg. Learn new recipes. Mingle with fellow food enthusiasts. Don't miss out on this exciting opportunity to experience the ultimate grilling event of the year. Easton Chamber of Commerce members can save $2 on their tickets. Call 508-238-3651 or visit the store to purchase tickets and receive the discounted price. And once again, I don't get paid to say this, but Fernandez Lumber is a great Easton business. And I know there are big box stores in other towns around us that maybe have a few more things than they have at Fernandez Lumber, but you will not find a better crew to help you out with the questions that you have than you will there at Fernandez. And again, no, I do not get a cut for saying that. I just have been over there many times with questions, and they're always willing to have an answer, and they're always willing to help out. So if you have a chance, check out the Egg Fest. Did I tell you when it was? I don't know that I did. But just in case I did not, it's coming up on Saturday, May 17th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Tickets are $20, but if you are a Chamber of Commerce member, you can save $2 on those tickets. Well, Oliver Ames' opportunities are starting to limit themselves as we are looking at the bottom of the sixth. They are down by 3 and only have registered 4 hits so far on the afternoon, scattered over 4 different innings. And here in the sixth, they need to string a few together. Henry Burr, the first baseman, up next. He had that slow ground out back in the 4th inning that he was not able to leg out. But he also singled back in the first. Count is 1-1 to Burr. Strong connection to the diving second baseman who tries to make the stop and makes it over the safe is the call. A lot of different things taking place there. The second baseman, Brady Lasser, had a little bit of difficulty making the play, then made the throw over the head of first baseman Matt Cronin, and Henry Burr was there in time. We're going to call that a hit for Oliver Ames and not an error, and that means we have a runner on first and no outs with Drew Hall. And I'll tell you, if you want to have someone up to bat right now and you need a little bit of pop, Drew Hall is your man. He is cleanup and has a single so far on the day. And again, he has been a oasis on Easton's offense in the middle of a desert over the past few games. So let's see what Drew can do here with a runner on first, no outs. Oliver Ames certainly has the opportunity to break this thing open and come back charging into this game. There's still plenty of game left. 1 ball, no strikes. Again, Henry Burr on first. Fouled off for a strike. I believe we might have a pinch runner on first, and I'll try to keep an eye on that, folks, to be able to tell you if we do when I can get a jersey number. I'm wearing bifocals now, which do help, or progressives, but at the same time, he turned before I could see. As the runner goes back, Silverman now in his 6th inning of work, and again, he has pitched a gem thus far. Got to admire it, even as a Tigers fan, but you kind of hope to be able to spoil it right here and right now. 1-1 is the count. Drew Hall looking to make something happen here. And again, if you were to pick someone in the lineup today to try to make something happen on the offensive side of the ball, I think he would be the one. Here's the pitch. In there for a strike. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Yeah, having progressives compared to the glasses that I've had in the past has certainly been a help for me. Being play-by-play announcer and being able to see the field. It's a good combination, I got to be honest with you. But from the vantage point that we have behind home plate, we're not always able to see everything. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Drew Hall. Silverman taking his time. Hall stays alive. The count remains 1-2. I know we have a pinch runner on first. I just am not able to identify him for you right now, folks. If and when I can, I'll be glad to let you know. All right, real slow down here as Silverman perhaps is getting a little bit gassed. I'm not sure. But the cadence in which he's pitching now compared to the first couple innings when he was really cranking it, he was pitching like there was a pitch clock that only had 5 seconds on it, and that is not the case now. 1-2, that pickoff attempt was unsuccessful. Here's the pitch. Drew Hall swings through it for strike 3. That'll be out number 1. Tristan Tremblett next up to bat. Looking for his first hit on the afternoon. 1 out. Eagles up by 3. OA looking to score. Well outside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. Silverman looks over at first and throws. Strike 1 called. Runner dancing around over there in the pickoff attempt. Not in time. Here's a pitch. Runner breaks, but that's going to be a deep pop fly to center field where it's going to be caught. He's going to have to run all the way back and barely makes it back in time. Once again, OA caught with some bad luck on the bases twice over, breaking on a stolen base, twice over. A fly out causes some real problems on the tag up. But thankfully, in both attempts, both runners were safe. We went from Oliver Ames having a runner on first and no outs to having a runner on first and 2 outs with Justin Phillips looking to do something here for the Tigers. Bottom 6, Eagles up by 3. Eagles 2-8 on the season, having lost 7 of their last 8. And you can tell they feel that they've got something here. Tigers looking to play spoiler. Here's a pitch. Strike called. 0-1. Well outside for a ball. Catcher throws to first to try to make sure that the runner does not advance, and he does not. 1 ball, 1 strike. I wish that runner on first would just turn just a little bit. I believe that might be Andrew Curzoli as he runs towards second on the grounder. That is going to be played towards first for out number 3. Well, we're going to hit the final inning here, and we're sure hoping for an OA comeback. But in the meantime, the score is 3-0 Sharon. Stick with us. Don't turn that dial. We'll be back in a moment here on ECAT.
Don't have time to sit down and watch ECAT programs? Don't worry, ECAT has got you covered. That's right, ECAT has
Podcast! Yes!
ECAT Podcast Channel has your favorite shows that you could listen to. Whether you want to chill and listen to the Ron Van Dam Show and hear him talk about what's bothering him that day, or the show hosted by local legends Stephanie Weinstein and Meredith Keach, where they talk about anything and everything, or take a listen to the weekly news hosted by Jack Ryan and Abby Kitchenham. Stay tuned in with Tiger Talk hosted by Oliver Ames students. Community Forum is where their host Priscilla talks about all things Easton. Easton residents can also find government meetings about various topics. You can find the podcast on Podbean and all your favorite podcast platforms. Just by searching ECAT or the ECAT podcast, you can find it all. The ECAT podcast channel is powered by Podbean, so either in the car ride or walking around town, you can always catch what's going on with ECAT. Happy listening!
If you're a Tigers fan, you've seen this before so far this season as the Tigers are behind going in the 7th inning at home. Tigers have won 3 games thus far this year, but they've all been away, and Tigers fans certainly, as maybe the Tigers themselves, had this date marked on their calendar, hoping that the Sharon Eagles, who also have had their share of struggles this year, that, well, this would be the first home win of the season. So far, that has not manifested itself as Sharon is up by 3. Neither team's really putting together a lot of offense, but Sharon doing what they needed to when they needed to, having scored 2 runs in the 3rd, run in the 5th, and now we are looking at the top of the 7th. We have a new pitcher in for Oliver Ames, and I believe, I'm going to check it out in just a moment, it is Colin Costello. Costello in of relief for Alex Sade. Alex Sade putting in 3 innings of relief this afternoon, gave up 1 earned run, 4 strikeouts. He certainly can look at what he dealt with a manner of pride, even if the result comes out as a loss today. He played some pretty gutsy baseball this afternoon, particularly in that 4th inning where things really could have broken open with runners on second and third and no outs, and completely shut down Sharon. Well, we're looking at the bottom of the order with Brody Lasser. Ball one. Again, Colin Costello in relief. AJ Baroncelli and Alex Sade are both starters. Costello is one of the designated relievers for the Tigers. Coach Abar having to be careful how many starters he pulls from today, especially considering that Oliver Ames has another game on Wednesday. 3 balls so far for Costello, and Lasser, who's struck out twice and mightily struck out twice, is at the plate. That's a 4-pitch walk for Costello. And for the first time today, Lasser makes his way to the base. Ari Grossman, the top of the order, comes up next. Now, if Silverman remains in the game, he'll be following, and Silverman has had the bat today. Grossman shows bunt, but pulls back. Ball one. Costello looks over at first. Here's the pitch. Outside once again for a ball. So far, Costello having some trouble finding the zone. 6 pitches and 6 balls have been called. So Costello looks over and pitches. Strike called there. 2 balls and 1 strike. As far as my notes here, this is Costello's first appearance at home thus far this year. Could be wrong, but just from the notes that I have here with me. Here's a pitch. Bunt popped up foul. And Costello's worked his way back into this. Now the count is 2-2. No outs. Runner on first. Sharon up by 3. We're in the final frame, unless something happens here on the Oliver Ames side. And we sure hope it does. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Grossman. Just outside the zone. Good take there by Ari Grossman. And we're looking at a full count now. Costello deals. Pop up to center field, where actually it's going to be caught by Tristan Tremblett, the left fielder. That ball tailed over into left center field, and Tristan had the play on it for out number 1. Silverman is at bat now for Sharon. Don't know if he'll pitch in the next half inning. We don't have confirmation of that yet, although I don't see anyone warming up. It's sometimes hard to be able to tell, but I don't see anyone in the bullpen for Sharon. High sky pop fly to shallow right field for out number 2, and boy, you got to be thankful there that that was all he was able to accomplish, particularly after some pretty devastating hits earlier in this game. The number 3 hitter, Matt Cronin, comes up. He's also had quite the day with a single and a double. And Costello, who started with that walk and 6 straight balls, has settled in now with 2 outs. That is going to go between first and second for a base hit. However, Colin LeMay has trouble fielding that. Thankfully, he was able to get it before the damage got any worse. There's a possibility there that the runner on second was going to continue on to third. However, he did not. Runners on second and first. 2 outs. Sharon up by 3. The DH, Cole Orendale, he's the captain. He is up at the plate. Costello with the pitch. Swing and a miss. Good movement on that pitch and had him befuddled. 0-1. Again, 2 outs, runners on first and second. OA needs to shut the door here. Floater in for a ball. Arndale has struck out, grounded out, and was hit by that pitch earlier in the game when he got plunked and then just had a primal scream at his at his dugout. And it was a scream out of excitement that he got to take his base. However, he's down 1-2 in this count. Third base coach comes over to give him a talk, help him with his approach here. And Costello's looking for one more strike to end this inning. Costello looks and pitches. Low and outside. 2-2 is your count. Again, one more strike is needed, and then OA has to get at least 3. Here's a pitch. Same spot, just outside. We're looking at a full count now. 3-2, 2 outs. Runners on first and second. Sharon trying to add a little bit more to their 3-run lead. OA trying to stop it. Here's a pitch. Pop up into right field. That's going to be on the line. It looks like it may go foul. However, it is caught for out number 3. And Costello, in one inning of work, gives up no runs. And we will hit the bottom of the 7th here in just a moment, where we are needing 3, but really looking for 4. Sharon up by 3. Well, Sharon in this game has 8 hits scattered over 7 innings. We're able to score 3. Struck out 9 times, actually 10 times, I believe, that I have registered here for either 9 or 10 times, quite a bit that Sharon has struck out. However, still been able to put 3 runs on the board. I think we're going to look back at this game. If OA is not able to get the W, you have to go back to what happened in the 3rd. And AJ pitching well, but had that fly ball to center field that wasn't able to be caught. It was in the shadows, in the tree, on the berm, and that allowed the opening for 2 runs to score. Now, listen, if those 2 runs don't score, you're still looking at a 1-0 game this afternoon, but that was just devastating because AJ really felt like he had some, really had something over the Eagles. However, it wasn't long after that they were starting to hit him, and they're starting to hit him hard, and Coach Abar made the decision to go ahead and pull him. I believe we are looking, well, we are not looking at a reliever here, and Mason Silverman is looking to go the distance this afternoon. 5 strikeouts, no earned runs, 1 walk, and a triple and a double, all on his stat line for the afternoon. And once again, not to over-explain it, but you have to admire what he has done today, even if you are an Oliver Ames Tigers fan, and I have no doubt that you are. Well, for the Tigers, you're looking at the bottom of the order. You have 7, 8, 9 hitters. Newton, LeMay, and Fowler will be coming up. So far of them, only Fowler has registered a hit this afternoon. He had that double back in the 5th. Oliver Ames, down by 3, looking for the win against the 2-8 Eagles. Outside for a ball. Here's the next pitch. Strike called. 1-1 to Newton. Newton's flown out and made it to base on a fielder's choice. Slow tapper is going to remain fair. No, it's going to go foul. That looked like it may have remained in fair territory, but it just went over the third base line and foul. Boy, that would have been fortuitous if that was the case. It remained fair because they had no play on Newton, who was making tracks down the first base line. Instead, we're looking at 1 ball and 2 strikes to Newton. Sun setting here at Frothingham, but you have to feel in some ways the sun is setting on the chances of the Tigers. Got to get someone on base here. Silverman deals. Ball 2. Nice take there by Newton. Strike 3 is called, and the Tigers are down to 2 outs. Silverman strikes out his 6th on the afternoon. Have a pinch hitter in, and that will be number 11, Ryan Johnson. Ryan Johnson, number 11, pitch hitting for Colin LeMay. Strike 1 called. Cade Fowler on deck. Here's a pitch. Floater that outside of the strike zone, 1-1. Here's a pitch. Plunks him right in the back of the neck, it looks like. It looks like it got part of his helmet and part of his neck, and he will take his base. And Ryan Johnson comes in for Colin LeMay and ends up taking the hit by pitch. However, as a Tigers fan, you want to make sure he's okay, and it looks like that he is. Coach Abar is going to talk with him for a minute. He's going to take his own base, so that's a good sign there that he is doing well. But the second part of that, now we know that he seems to be uninjured without any problem there. The good news is we've got a runner on first with 1 out. No doubt Sharon's going to be looking for the double play to end this ball game. But Fowler, who's already gotten the double so far this afternoon, is looking to get some of that magic here again. Sharon's going to talk about it. Again, they are 7-8, or they've lost, rather, 7 of their last 8, although they did win against Brockton last week. They've had some pretty great difficulties thus far this year, and you know that they feel like they're on the cusp of getting something right now, and the Tigers are standing in the way of that. Silverman putting in a great performance, even better when you consider that he is on his first year of varsity and is a sophomore. So Fowler steps in, 3-0 Sharon, runner on first. Johnson, they're on first after pinch hitting. Strike 1 call. That seemed like that was outside, but that has been the call pretty much all afternoon there from our umpire. 0-1. Fowler hits it. That's high, and that's deep, and the center fielder's running after it, and it's going to be caught by the left fielder who made his way over for out number 2. Fowler got all of that ball. Unfortunately, it tailed over to the left fielder who made the catch for out number 2, and OA is down to its last out. Tommy Reagan is now up to bat. He is leading off. He's 0 for 3 on the afternoon, and you sure do hope that this would be a great time for him to get his first hit of the ball game. Tommy Reagan, a junior. Runner on first. OA down by 3, trying to stay alive. Well outside for a ball. Oliver Ames just not been able to hang anything on the board so far, only having 5 hits scattered over these 7 innings. Strike 1 called well on that outside corner, but yet in that called zone. 1-1. Johnson remains on first base. Hit again high, and it's hit deep, and it's going to left field, and will it be caught? And it is for out number 3, and the Sharon Eagles have won the ball game this afternoon at Frothingham Field, 3-0 against your Oliver Ames Tigers. Tough one for OA this afternoon, certainly having wanted to get a victory against a team that had some struggles themselves, but Sharon, congratulations to them, and certainly to Mason Silverman on the afternoon for putting out an outstanding performance against the Tigers. Well, your Oliver Ames Tigers will be back in action this Wednesday against the visiting North Attleboro Rocketeers. First pitch, 3:45. Check eastoncat.org or our YouTube channel and Facebook pages for broadcast updates and channels assignments. Thank you to today's crew, Jack, our engineer and producer, and And on the camera, Eric and Lucas. This is Adam Rivero signing off from Worcester Field. Final score, the Sharon Eagles 3 and your Oliver Ames Tigers 0. We'll see you Wednesday on the home for Oliver Ames Athletics, Easton Community Access Television.
ECAT's production of OA Sports are provided by RevT, we simplify technology for better, Easton Lions Club, Morris Insurance, Doug King Builders Incorporated. ECAT would like to thank all the sponsors for the support of producing OA Sports.